The Paul Leslie Interviews.
It is our pleasure to welcome Mr. Aston, family man Barrett. Thank you very, very much for making the time to talk to me. So, first of all, how did you get started with music?
Well, when I left school, I was engrossed into the Jamaica Youth Corps. It's like a military, scene. And when I there, I like the food and the discipline, and they keep you healthy and things like that, training and things. But it was my thing, you know. And I said, I'm gonna play bass. I'm gonna play the backbone. And my little brother, which I'm 4 years older, he get us some empty paint pans, and make a little platform at the table for his drum set. And there we begin to practice drum and bass, which become dub.
What is it that you like about music?
Well, music carry a nice feeling, and we realized that it could also take with it messages. So we are the archangels of the messengers, and we create the music called reggae. And the reggae music becomes the art beat of the people. It's the universal language, and it carries that message of roots, cultures, and reality. And the drum is the art beat, and the bass is the backbone. So that's what makes it so strong, Concept of the drum and the bass. I put the band together. I've been on the road from 1969 until 2009, non-stop. Before Bob, with Bob, and after Bob.
You mentioned just a few minutes ago about the Exodus album, and you're going to be performing many of the songs from that album tonight. What is it about that album?
Well, as you know, the great composer from the ancient time, from the 18th century, which was called Rachmaninoff, did all these classic music, movie themes, and yet still those music was not nominated as the music of the century. But we did it with Exodus, and nominated and awarded by Times Magazine as the album of the century. So we know that the Exodus is also the music of the century. So we say within this age, what we are living today, with all these war and crimes and all of these things which is happening, it's time to remind them of Exodus, the movement of your people, of youth consciousness, world consciousness.
Why do you think that Bob Marley's music has lasted for so long?
Well, we all are just ordinary people who do extraordinary work. We are like work addicts. So we look through our lifetime and memorize our time from youth growing up in school to graduate on the road as young man them, and listening to what's happening home and abroad, both the good, the bad, and the indifferences. So we decide to create some different kind of messages and melody and music and spread it four corners of the earth. And it's Jah works, it's Jah music, and we are voluntarily chosen for the mission.
How did you meet Bob Marley?
Music brings us together. The first time when I heard of a Wailers, when they were just a vocal group, I was still doing electrical welding and bike mechanic in a bar drinking white rum and milk. And my friend them said, come and listen to this new group. And they punched the jukebox. And the music what I heard was playing was Simmer Down. And the whole time we were in that bar, no other music play in the jukebox but Simmer Down. For the next hour, it was just pure Simmer Down by the Wailers. And I fall in a trance. I feel like I was a part of that thing. Like it was my brethren and I haven't even known the man them, I met them yet. And I look on all my other friends I'm around, they were just listening to the music. But I listening so deep, you know. So when we come together in the late 60s, it was when Bob heard of my music and asked a guitar friend of mine, Alva Lewis, popular known as Reggie, to seek this bass player for him for a recording session. So my friend came and told me that Bob Marley wanted to see me for a recording session. And he take me to a place downtown where he had a little shop behind Orange Street in a little alley. And he was there reasoning with some friends and him say, you see that man with that apple cap? That's Bob. When him finish talk with him, I soon come back. And my friend left me there like between 15 to 20 minutes. Then he returned and Bob saw him when him returned and said, what happened, man? Don't I ask you to do me a favor, man? Him said, what? To get the musician man for me. And my friend Alvaro said, did I bring the man come long time? And Bob said, where? Him said, see the man sit down over there, sir. And Bob came over to me and looked at me and said, you mean this youth here? Is him named Family Man? Who play all of those bass line I've been hearing? And I say, yes. And Bob smiled and looked at me and said, then if it's you, you are the right man then. I thought it was a more elder musician, you know, like a giant or something. And didn't know it was a little midget me.
What was your impression of him when you met him?
It was cool, good, because I hear of the man and I listened to his works, but the first meeting was good. And we went in the studio after a couple of days after that and did his first 2 tracks. One of them was a cover version of a Junior Walker song called You Gotta Hold On to These Feelings. And the next one was called Black Progress. He wasn't even singing it. He was rapping, like what these guys rapping nowadays. He was just rapping on the rhythm, you know.
Why do you think that so many people from around the world like this music?
Because the reggae music is the heartbeat of the people. It's the universal language, what carries that heavy message of roots, cultures, and reality. And it's for all ages and all times. It's for both past, present, and future. As we would say, it's like the moon. And we say, the older the moon is, the brighter it shines.
What is in the future of the Wailers?
The future of the Wailers is a non-stop sing, because thy will must be done by all means, no matter the crisis. Because, you know, you have the different religion out there and churches who are supposed to be praising the true Lord God Almighty, who created heaven and earth and all living substance. But some call him in many different names, but there's only one God. So it doesn't matter what name you want to call him in, because each one shall be paid according to their works. If you see him as Jesus, then you will get your Jesus pay. If you see him as Rastafari, you get Rastafari pay. If you see him as Allah, you will get Allah pay. If you see him as Muhammad, that's what them call him. But there's only one true and living God. And he also told us that we must beware of false gods. God, there are other gods out there also, it seems to be. You know, you got the money god, you got the material god, the business god, you know. Things like that.
When someone goes to see the Wailers perform in concert, what is it that you hope the people in the audience get out of the experience?
It's to fulfill their dreams of the other half, what never been told. What they believe what they have in themselves, they hear more for themselves and they see it, performing live. And some of the generation could not come to this show when Bob was alive, true they were on the age. So they are coming today, and even young people who born after the death of Bob take on to the music and the message, and they are coming just the same. So we got audience of all ages. Well, through the nightclub, we won't see the babies then, but when we are in the open festivals, baby mother out there with baby into prom. Yes.
I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about the song that you guys did with Kenny Chesney.
Yes. It was so cool, my man. And the vibe was from Kenny was so cool too. But I discovered from a longer time that reggae music and country music are related. They both tell it uncut, without commercials. Tell it like it is, as raw as ever. So it's reggae country. Yes.
Could you tell us about the new vocalist, or not the new, but the current vocalist for the Wailers? Elon? Is that how you say his name?
Yes, Elon. Elon. Her name Elon. I forgot his surname, but yeah, he been with us shortly after he leaves school, when he was like 19, 20, or 20, 21, in those age, like 10 years ago. And we did a portion of his early time, with him and he with us, getting the experience. I never been with a band before. We never even rehearse. We just discuss it on the band and run, play the CDs but when I first heard of him, I got a cassette, was to listen of his own composition, which he inspired from reggae and did. He was introduced to us by an ex-guitarist who used to play with me, and moved from the Jersey side and was living in LA. So that's how they run into both others. And at the time I was looking for someone, and he spent his early time. And then I have another singer was working with me, and then he's now returned after 10 years.
Wow.
He's more mature. He used to do his own little solo thing, have a little band of himself from the west side. And he did an album. But right now we are working on a collaborate album together. Both Ilan and myself, gathering my brother drum tracks, unreleased drum track from the tin can, on quarter-inch, half-inch, and 1-inch tapes, and 24/2, and then build a new rhythm, new bass line, new guitarists, bringing all the original players, Tyrone Downey from France, Alvin Seco Passenger from Jamaica, percussion, Glenn DeCosta on sax, Dave Madden on trumpet, Vin Gordon on trombone, and Earl Chinger Smith on guitar. So we're roping all the Haitian guys them and set those rhythm, and then Ilan is handing them out to some special guests, which we don't disclose their names, We're leaving that like a surprise. But the last time I was in the studio, I was working with one of the artists called from the Rough Rider crew. Her name is Eve.
Oh.
So, and of course, Kenny is going to be involved with it also. And our next young singer from the LA, which we did a reggae track for her, Corby, and some other distinguished guests for the surprise for the fans. And we got like 4 to 5 tracks to finish up before we start mixing. Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners out there are wondering, how did you get the name Family Man?
Well, true, I am the one who put the band together and always keeping the band together. I am the sound engineer, the technician, you know. I set the bandstand and then I show peer love among, and I know that we all have to work and live together as a family. So I said the one who is in charge to do that. I don't want to say like I'm the band leader or the foreman or the boss. I said, since we are working together, the family, and I am in charge, I am the family man. And the name became a legend.
I have two final questions.
Yes.
One kind of lighthearted and one serious. What is your all-time favorite meal?
My all-time favorite meal. It's just the same what people is eating nowadays, is fruits and vegetables, nuts and grain.
My last question. This broadcast is going out all over the world.
Yes.
So what would you like to say to all those people listening in?
Well, of course, they all could see that prophecy is fulfilling in most areas, and it's also written in the Holy Books, which is the Holy Bible in America, or the Holy Bible in English. That's when we see these things, must marvel not, knowing that it's the sign of the time. What was in Revelation, so shall it be in Revelation. I mean, what was in Genesis, so shall it be in Revelation. Right? What was in the beginning, so shall it be in the last days. Well, we know that the earth is not coming to our hand, but more time, the world, the Almighty God created the earth, and men build the world on top of the earth. So sometimes those things always come to an end because they always destroy themselves. But the earth always remained, and the meek and the humble shall inherit the earth.
Well, Mr. Barrett, thank you very, very much for taking the time to talk to me. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure. Yes.
Appreciate it.
One love.